Hey, happy Friday to you. What's up, YouTube? How's it going? My name's Jim. I'm a crypto trader, and I trade on the forex as well. And I trade from an Elliott Wave perspective. And I want to frame this video today around a couple of comments that I received yesterday that just showed the kind of the same sentiment in the market, and or at least with my videos, I should say. It was a positive comment and a negative comment, and basically, but both have the same sentiment. And I want to show you what that was, and then just show you what I'm doing on this channel so you understand my videos better from day to day. So, because a lot of times you'll see me, going down to the small time frame and drawing different wave shapes that we should be able to see on the mark, on the thing, and it just like looks like for somebody that doesn't understand what I'm doing, that I'm just drawing lines on the screen and guessing what price might do, right? But basically, there is a reason and there's a rhyme to it. It's not lunacy. It's not anything like that. So if you're brand new to the channel, I'm an Elliott Wave trader. I want to help you understand how an Elliott Wave trader thinks from the market. I certainly I can look at the market from support and resistances. It's very simple to do that. There are a lot of a lot of guys that use the moving averages as well as the support and resistance zones, liquidity zones, and all these things. And I use those things. Don't get me wrong. But when I bring my videos to you, I mainly am looking at structure. Okay, I'm mainly looking at the structure of the wave because the Elliott Wave perspective says that the structure of the waves tell me where price is going to be heading next. Okay, so in the micro time frame, I can have a general idea as to where price is going to be heading based upon the wave structure or the current wave that we're in presently. Or at least have a high probability that price is going to be moving that way. So let me address the comments that were in the video, and then we'll jump in. So I want to highlight this from yesterday's video, I believe, the 16th. Yep, it was yesterday's Bitcoin bull run, Litecoin shenanigans. Here's what I'm expecting. So that was the video. Um, and here was the comment from JD that was really, really powerful and kind. And he says there are a handful of traders that I'm waiting to. Let's see, a handful of traders I'm waiting to fully go bullish before I'm willing to stop being a bear for the next upside cycle. And you are one of them. I will be. I'm still super wary of getting too bullish. Chart guys mentioned the other day that many of these, like Litecoin, haven't even changed their trend on the weekly time frame yet, making it still possible. We aren't out of the woods just yet. And then he says this, and here's the sentiment I wanted to show you. That he says, while I don't use or really understand Elliott Wave. So JD doesn't understand Elliott Wave and he doesn't use it at all, but he watches my channel nonetheless. He says he doesn't understand it in the slightest, but he has a totally different style, much like chart guys. He says, I respect you and appreciate your hard work and effort. Well, hey, and he says, God bless you, Jim. Thanks. And hey, JD, thanks for that kind comment. I really, really appreciate that encouragement. And I appreciate you letting me know that you don't understand Elliott Wave, because one of the goals of this channel is to help you guys to begin understanding Elliott Wave. And that's why I actually, if you go to my channel, Jim of All Trades, you just kind of click on my channel here and go to my video section. You'll find if you scroll down everywhere you see this trading night school and a picture of me standing up, just kind of go through. That's where I'm going through and teaching Elliott Wave principles and trading principles, and the titles will help you know. I haven't updated the playlist in a while. I'll have to do that, but I've got a playlist that tries to isolate all those. So just find all those videos there. Right now there's 11 of them. Okay, there's just 11 lessons on Elliott Wave, and you can kind of begin to understand what Elliott Wave is all about. So JD, thanks again for that comment. Really, really appreciate it. Just thanks for just sharing that. But so that sentiment though there is that you don't really understand it in the slightest, and I think there's a lot of. It made me wonder. I wonder how many of you out there watch my videos on a regular basis, but you're like, what are you doing, Jim? Where do you get those lines, and how do you know price might go there? And then the next day, price actually does kind of go there, and you're like, many of you have been watching for a while. I've been fairly right. I mean. A lot of the time, I don't always get it right, and I never pretend to be. But I can show you the possibilities of what's heading. And when I say this is what I think might happen or not, it may or may not happen. But I can show you the possibilities, and usually what happens is within the realm of the possibilities that I share. One might say, "Well, Jim, anybody can say it could go up or down." Yeah, but not in the shape that I draw on the screen, right? So anyway, and then I had another comment from this guy who was very, very, very proud of himself. He was very, very happy with himself. He was just luging legends in time, I guess, and he just decided to be real unkind with his commenting. He says this is embarrassing. He says, do me a huge favor, go to the person who taught you how to trade and shoot him in the back of his head. Okay, what a comment, man. What a comment. I know it's hyperbolic, but still. He says this is nonsense. And there you go. There's the sentiment right there. This is nonsense. This makes no sense to him. In other words, my style of TA, my understanding of the wave structure that I'm showing doesn't make sense to him. And he says it's madness. And anybody who says it's madness is basically they don't understand the Elliott Wave rule set and and how an Elliott Wave trader looks at the market, at least when he's looking from an Elliott Wave perspective. That isn't the only way I look at the market, but it is one of my primary ways that I look at the market. And when I bring my videos, guys, it's primarily focused in on that, because you can go to all these other channels all over the place and get MA, you can get TA based on the moving averages, you can get TA based upon support and resistance zones. That's easy to do. All that's super easy. Watch Crypto Kirby. Okay, watch watch Four Flies. Watch Crypto Jeb. I mean, those guys are really good with it. Moving average. Watch Crown. He's good with on all time frames using different stochastics and indicators and all this jazz. And there's all kinds of channels that already do all of that stuff, but there are very few Elliott Wave channels that give you a daily wave indication, a daily look at the market through an Elliott Wave lens, and that's what my channel is all about doing. Okay, I'm not really about giving you a complete TA every day. You can get that as you use the YouTube community. What I'm doing is help you seeing it from the Elliott Wave perspective, and that's what the videos are all about. And so if somebody chances along and comes on in my videos and sees them and doesn't understand Elliott Wave, then he's going to think it's nonsense and it's madness. And so anyway, I just wanted to highlight this guy's comments. He says, most definitely the worst TA, the worst TA. Yeah, that's the worst spelling I've ever seen in my life. So, hey, man, just make sure you spell things if you're going to just not look stupid in your comments. But that being said, don't want to be too unkind in reaction, but man, it's hard when you get haters, I'll tell you what. So hey, the goal of the video right now is to kind of take a peek at the market right now. I'm gonna kind of come back and just kind of give you some ideas and just to give you a broad framework for how I look at the market through Elliott Wave lens and how I'm looking at the current corrections. Okay, so hang in there, watch this video. It's really important to help you understand what's going on and how in my videos, and it'll help you understand future videos a lot more. Okay, even if you don't know all the Elliott Wave rules set, even after this video, it's not intended to be that kind of a video. What you'll understand, at least what I'm doing in my videos, so it's not so nonsensical to you, and that as you begin to study Elliott Wave, you can begin doing it yourself over time. All right, so let me just give you a couple of quick things that basically Elliott Wave traders look at the market. We basically look at the market through the lens of impulses and corrections. Okay. Now, if a non-Elliott Wave trader would look at that, he would see price moving up and then a bull flag and then price continuation. Okay, and that's fine. But what an Elliott Wave trader says, that's an impulse, that's a corrective structure. Okay, so we got impulses and corrections. That's what we're looking at, and those impulses are 5 waves, and the corrections are 3 waves. Okay, impulses are 5s, corrections are 3. Now, it's not that simple. There's rule sets and there's relationships. There's Fibonacci relationships that we have to understand. But in general, we separate the market in 5s and 3s, impulses and corrections. And that's the way we view the market. And so basically, after every impulse that you get, you're going to get a correction. Okay? It could be a simple correction. It could be a complex correction. Okay, there are so many different forms of corrections, and that's the hard shape to really try to figure out what's going on. It's always in the corrections that's difficult. The impulses are fairly easy to map and identify and to trade. To be honest with you, they're easy to trade. But the corrections, which is what we've been in the last 6 to 7 months now, I've been giving my commentary on this correction as it's being formed, trying to anticipate the moves of that correction. Have done a pretty bang up job. I missed this move right here, and that's the only real big move that I missed as far as mistrading it for sure. And then this move, I I said this could happen, but I didn't think it was going to happen. But it did, and it is what it is. I didn't miss it though. I shared the possibility in the videos. So with that being said, let's just go back to this previous bull market here of 2017, and then the correction of 2018, and let me just show you very quickly how an Elliott Wave trader should look at that. Okay, just looking very simply in the market, we're going to see that this is a major impulse wave. This is an impulse. Let me get my marker here. There we go. There's an impulse. That's a corrective structure. Okay. Now, what? Oh, come on. There we go. Then what followed? What followed is another impulse and then a corrective structure. What do you think is going to come next? Most likely it's going to be another impulse, okay? Going to get an impulse of some kind. But let's just go back and just kind of look at this and say, let me just show you that the impulses have 5 waves, the corrections have 3 waves. In general, mainly, okay? So every time, let's just start very simply here. Let's start right here with this wave right here. And let me just show you the impulse waves, the 5-wave delineation, and the 3-wave corrections. Pretty simple, okay? Here we go. So here, just starting right here at the next low, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an impulse wave right there, okay? That came after the last correction. That's why I started right here. So this is the last deep correction. So I started right there. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. We got 5-wave impulse. And check it out. We got 1, 2, 3-wave pullback. Now those waves have subwaves. We understand that, but that just gives you an idea. You got a 5-wave impulse, a 3-wave correction, and look at where it retraced to, just so you could see. This one retraced to between the 50 and the 618. Okay, let's go to the next one here. Okay, let's go to the next one, so you can kind of see the next impulse wave that came up. Let me show you what that looks like here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. There's your impulse wave. Here is your corrective wave. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's put the Fibonacci's on that guy and see what did that retrace to as well, just for kicks. You can see this one came to the 618 retrace. Okay, all right. So that's a nice impulse wave and a correction. Let's go to the next impulse. Now the next one is kind of a it's right here. Okay. Sorry. Let's see. We got. Let me zoom in just a little bit here. There we go. Right there. One, two, three, four, five. Had a 3-wave correction right there. What do you think it? What do you think it retraced to? That one retraced to the 50% right there. You can see that. Okay, and then finally the last wave was kind of an extended wave here, a little bit more complex, but nevertheless it's an impulse wave. Let me show it to you. We've got, oh come on, a couple of ways you might do this one. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. That's probably the way we're going to do that there. So that's the first wave, second, and the third impulse. There's 3 pushes basically, okay? But there's 5 waves in there, and then that's the end of our bull run, okay? So after that big impulse wave that we just received, what happened? Well, we had a corrective wave. Well, let's look at the first corrective wave. What we would expect is a 3-wave pullback that's comparable or comparable to the bull move that just happened, okay? So we need a comparable corrective wave that's going to follow that impulse, okay? And so this is a corrective wave. Some non-Elliott wave call them pullbacks. Okay, that's fine. But again, we're going to call it a corrective wave, corrective structure. and there's your three-wave understanding. That would be a 5-3-5 correction, okay? And so what we would call that, because there's a three-wave move, is that's the beginning. And you say, well, hey, it's done. It should be going up from there, right? Nope. This one continued on in its correction. That means it became a complex correction, right? So what we label that then the first wave. Well, but let me go on before we label it. Then what we had that followed that wave is we had this kind of three-wave structure there. Actually, you could divide it right here. Several ways you could do it, but basically we had a corrective structure in here, in following the WXY. Okay, and then what we had is we had a off the bottom, or after that we had a five-wave impulse. Okay, see if I can show it to you here, and let me do a little bit better. The five-wave impulse that you see is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got an impulse. This was the three-wave corrective structure right there. Boom, like that. Okay, got a five-wave impulse. Then what we got was a triangle. Okay, we got a triangle that followed. It's easy to see that guy as well, right there. Boom, right there. And the way we label a triangle is A, B, C, D, E. So we got A, B came lower. This is what we call a running triangle. B, C, D, E. And then we got continuation to the downside with a five-wave impulse. You say, Jim, where's that five-wave impulse? Glad you asked. Glad you asked. Let me show it to you. We've got a five-wave impulse. 1, 2, all that's 3, 4, and 5 right there. So there it is. And so basically when we go back and label this guy, what you have, let me get rid of some of this stuff on the chart here. So I'm going to show you. First off, we had this this ABC move, A, B. Oh, well, that's WXY. Let me try again. A, B, C, right there. Okay. Then we had this little X wave, or just ABC wave here, and then we had another ABC. The triangle's the B wave and C wave, and what you have is a double correction. That's a complex correction, and so that's what we call basically a W, X, and a Y wave. Okay. And that's what you got. There you go. And generally speaking, I haven't pulled the fibs on this in quite a while. Generally speaking, this one didn't quite happen because of the nature of that triangle. But generally speaking, the Y wave comes to a one-to-one extension of the W wave. This did not in this case. It actually came to like the 618 and that's a possibility as well. All right, so that's the way I would look at that. That's the way I go back and I analyze that wave. Now it's easy to go back after the wave is done and see all the 5s and 3s, but they're there, right? So then what we had following that is a 5-wave impulse, and that's pretty easy to see as well. When we count this, we got a 1, 2, got a 3, 4, and a 5. I mean, it's pretty simple to see, right? There's a 5-wave impulse, and as that was being made, we knew that we were getting impulse waves based upon the structures that were being formed, and so we weren't ignorant about the price going to be coming up. Excuse me, coming up to these regions, right? So basically, we understand that. And I made videos along the way, what prices we were looking to make, and we rode that wave up. And we traded it to the upside. So there's a 5-wave impulse followed now by a correction. You say, well, okay, what kind of correction do we have now? We have a beautiful correction that's been staying pretty much within this channel, okay? And then generally here, I'm going to go to the daily here just to kind of get all this in here. I'm going to turn off my moving average just to kind of clear up this area a little bit. And just basically, the first thing that just jumps out at me right away is that I have some kind of a 3-wave structure right here. Okay, I got a three-wave move right there. That's the first three wave. Okay, so that's a corrective structure because it's three waves. It's not five waves, it's three waves, right? And then I got another three wave going in the opposite direction right there. And that's a clear three waves on this count. Then I've got this kind of I've got this little flat right here in the middle. So I've got a five, a three, and then I got another five wave right there. Okay. Um, so that's a five, a three, and then a five. Okay. So that's a three wave move, and then a three wave move. Then this, guys, is a three wave move. Okay. So what you have here, up until this point, we had a clear WXY. And we said, hey, the possibility of reversal or the finishing of that wave is really complete. Except what we got here is we got another three wave move that followed it. Let me show you what we're looking at. Again, we look at this three wave move, and Elliott Wave Trader says, that's an expanded flat. That's a three wave move. That's a corrective shape that we know and understand and study, and that is a corrective structure. Okay? Then, after that three wave move, we would expect then to see another three wave move. And so what I'm expecting this market to finish out is we've got a corrective structure here. Okay? It's a three wave move here. So we've got a five wave impulse is the way I see that. We got a three wave move. I'm looking for a five wave impulse. And that's the way I'm interpreting this market. And that's the way an Elliott Wave technician is looking at this market for the most part. Okay, that's not nonsense. That's based upon rule sets, and this is based upon reproducible patterns over and over and over in the market. Fives and threes, fives and threes, fives and threes. Okay. All right, and the way we would label this would be a very complex W. It's a triple correction. W, X, Y, X, and all that would be Z. Okay? And we label corrections with letters while we label impulses with numbers. But there's no doubt about it, this is not impulse, this is correction. That's why you get all this chop up and down, up and down, up and down. All right, so there you go, guys. That's my overview of this market up to this point. So this is what I'm expecting. It would not make sense. Okay, let me go back. This is what I'm expecting based upon my interpretation. Now, everything that's past is easy to interpret. It's what is present and what is future not so easy to interpret. You say, well, what do you do? How do you figure out what might be coming? Well, you basically have to take what you have and say, based upon what I see right now, what is the most likelihood? What is the highest likelihood of what I expect to see coming? Okay, so since I have this three wave structure there, I'm looking for a three wave structure. Okay, so I have to have a final. It's a requirement here, guys. I got a three wave, a three wave, a three wave, a three wave. I've got to have another three wave. Now, either this right here is a three wave, and I'm done. Okay, and it's finished. That's some kind of a three wave move. All right. Or this is a five wave. This is a corrective wave. I need one more five wave, a 5, 3, and a 5. Okay. So we have some kind of a. So those are my options basically. Either it's done right here. Okay. But it can't be because we got this lower low right here. But here's the problem with that. We got this three wave thing right here. This became a three wave. You had a three wave that went up, and then you had a three wave that went down, and then now you're getting this diagonal shape impulse wave. That's what we call, guys, another. This is an expanded flat. That's the way I'm interpreting this right now. But again, it's really, really hard to interpret the waves as they're being made or to guess what's coming. You have to use some intuition. You have to use your knowledge of Elliott Wave, and this is what could happen. But that's what I'm doing here on the smaller time frames. After I've analyzed all of this and come up with some kind of account that makes sense to me through the Elliott Wave lens, then I have to interpret what's happening in light of this, okay, and make a conclusion. Well, if this, then this must be this or this. Okay, and I can come up with some different scenarios. And so that's what I'm doing on a daily basis, guys. I'm applying these kinds of these rule sets, and looking at fives and threes and looking at the different corrective formations that there are. I'm not just drawing lines on the screen, guys. I've studied Elliott Wave for 2.5 years, and I've still got more to remember. You forget more than you know. There's so many rules and so many guidelines, and it's a complicated system. There's no doubt about it. But for me, it lets me go back and see everything, and I can make complete sense of the wave structures that came through here. I was like, yes, I can see all of that, and it makes total sense. And so, what it does to me is it gives me some ideas on what I should be able to expect coming in the future. All right, so with that being said, I'm now presently interpreting this last wave as an expanded flat right here. Boom, 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 like that. And the C wave is always 5 waves. That's a rule set, okay? And so that C wave is taking the form of an ending diagonal. Now, that may or may not be the case, because what we have to then say is my interpretation of this right now is incomplete. Until I know what comes next, I cannot be certain about this last move. In other words, this move, I can only be as certain as I can be without the next move. The next move that I get is going to validate or invalidate the way I've interpreted this wave. Okay? And so basically, I really need more data. And Elliottician is always saying more data, more data. I need more data. Okay? So we need more data. But that being said, I don't have more data. So all we can now do in my videos is talk about what it could be. Okay? Now, there are reasons from Elliott Wave rules that I don't like this as an ending diagonal, mainly because I see a lot of 5 waves in here rather than 3 waves. There's a good chance that we might be dealing with a beginning diagonal, where you have a 5-wave move, a 3-wave pullback, you got a 5-wave move, a 3-wave pullback, and then another 5-wave move. Okay. Now, let's see. This 4-wave does overlap the 1-wave, which is generally expected in a diagonal, and we've got 5 waves here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like so. That is a nice shape of a diagonal. It doesn't mean it has to be diagonal. I can't tell you how many times impulses start out looking like diagonals, and then they just shoot the moon out of it and say, oh, well, that wasn't a diagonal. But it was taking that shape as it was being made, and so I had to at least consider it. Because a diagonal finishes in 5 waves like I just showed you. Let me just draw them like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're finishing it up. I think we're about done. We may have had the last hit to the high. We may be done. We may have a little bit more to go. One more little push up. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know. But then after a diagonal, you would expect it to, they generally fall out, okay? A lot of people who are not Elliott Wave, they're looking at this as an upward forming wedge, and we know they break to the downside, right? So obviously, we know that upward facing wedges break down. Well, an Elliott Wave is saying that's a diagonal. It should break down, and it should break down in 3 waves, some kind of a corrective structure. So I want to look for a corrective structure that follows this wave. Now, if it's a leading diagonal, that means this was the end of the correction right here. Okay, that was the end of the correction, and this is the beginning of a new wave. So this is 5 impulse waves in the form of a diagonal. I'm going to get a 3-wave pullback as a correction, and then we go to the moon. That is one possibility of what we're doing. That moon phase is going to just be another impulse wave where you got 5 waves, pullback, 5 waves, pullback, 5 wave, pullback. Okay, it's going to be another impulse wave. Okay, now if it's an ending diagonal, that means this is the completion of a move. All of this goes together. This is the completion of an X wave, and then we're going to go down for our Z wave. Okay, and that's gonna be very bearish. And so those, if you're looking at this, and this is what I said in yesterday's video, and I'm explaining it now. If you're looking at this as a diagonal, there's 2 ways you can see it, as a bullish or a bearish diagonal. If it's bearish, we're going down from here, 5 waves. If it's bullish, we're going down in 3 waves. So we're still going down, but in 3 waves. We're only going to retrace 50 to 60%, and then we're going to start our way up again, and the moon boys can get excited. I can get excited. I'm ready for it to go to the moon. I just want to be on the right side of the trade when it does. Okay. All right. So that's where we are, guys, and that's what we're doing. So I hope this video just kind of helps you understand just how my brain functions from the Elliott Wave rule set. I don't have time in every video to teach you all there is to know about Elliott Wave. That's what the Trading Night School is about. You watch those videos. That's going to help you process my videos more clearly and plainly every day. But I hope it helps you to do is say, okay, I at least understand what Jim's doing. I'm not giving complete TA. I'm not giving moving averages. I'm not giving support and resistance. I am focusing my videos solely on helping you see the Elliott Wave perspective, because chances are you've already got the support and resistance down. You've already got the MAs on your charts. You don't know Elliott Wave, and so you'd like to see how an Elliottian is looking at this to add that to your repertoire of analysis. And you can take it or leave it. That's fine with me, but at least it's giving you a daily look at how this Elliott Wave trader is looking at the market. And so that's what the benefit of Jim of All Trades is doing. It's showing you how to look at the market from an Elliott Wave perspective. Okay? All right, guys. That's been a long enough video. I didn't mean to go so long, but I hope that helps you guys. In the grand scheme of things, guys, I'm still looking. I've got three options, guys, just to give you kind of. I've got this. I've got the bear scenario where we're going to break down soon, or we got a bull scenario where we're going to break down soon, but it's going to be three waves and then up. And then I have the extreme bull scenario where this is all actually not a diagonal at all, but rather this is 1 2 1 2, and we're going a lot higher from here. So those are the three scenarios I'm looking at right now, and that's the way the impulse wave would kind of begin showing itself. Okay. All right, with that being said, you guys have a fantastic day. I hope that's helpful. Leave some comments. Let me know what you thought about the video today. Let me know if that was helpful to you, if that was enlightening to you. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit subscribe. Going to get a lot of good content like this on a regular basis. All right, well, you have a great weekend. We'll see you on the flip side tomorrow with another video. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.